professional photographer, but I'm guessing that may have actually been taken from somebody who was down close to the stage, and they may have posted that immediately on social media, and that got picked up, and then that got as we would have said, retweeted or forwarded out there. And so that tells you how fast this is. It also tells you how Secret Service and others will be looking for any information, anything they can gather and glean that can give them any idea of where the shot came from, what the circumstances are. And of course, they're trying to figure out, again, as we talked about before, is this a one-off? Was it just a lone wolf doing something at a political rally? Or is this part of something much larger? Could this be part of a broader conspiracy? And if you want to go back historically, Lincoln was assassinated, President Lincoln, in Ford's Theater, but it was part of a much larger conspiracy. That was part of a larger conspiracy to take over the government. If you may recall, not too many months ago, there was a plot that was uncovered in Ukraine.
Yeah, right. What's up, guys?
To take out, President Zelensky and others as a plot to overthrow the government. Now, obviously,
that's crazy stuff, man. Crazy day. Assassination attempt on Donald Trump, apparently. Former President Trump. I feel like reports are saying that he's fine right now. He was bleeding in the footage, though. I feel like I know I shouldn't be... Now that I know he's okay, it probably just won him the election. At least in my eyes. Because it's really hard to reframe the absolute delusional depths that the left has fallen in their hatred for Trump. Now, of course, they can swing something. Maybe it's a right-winger, right, that shot him. Maybe he wasn't shot at all. Maybe it was firecrackers that ricocheted and made Trump's ear bleed. Here, I'll show you. Let's take a look together, shall we?
Holden.
I know everybody's seeing this right now.
Holden,
but whatever.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
You guys, that's a pretty intense fucking scene, man. Like, that's a good... Like, when I first heard the news coming in, I was thinking, a stray shot, which is impressive enough at a rally. I would have thought the security would be pretty good. I'm sure it is, but I've already heard comments about why the security might have been lax enough to let something like that happen. But listen to this volley, man. So if you notice, like, if you listen carefully, you'll hear that, like, there's that initial volley of shots seem to be aimed at Trump. This is all speculative. And then there's that, after a brief lull, there's a follow-up volley of shots. I don't know if the news is in, but I'm wondering if that second volley of shots was the Secret Service mag dumping the shooter. Because corresponding with that second volley of shots, you could hear the screams of the crowd growing as if they realize what just happened and they're looking at a dead guy on the ground, aka the shooter. I don't know, just spitballing here. We'll check to see what everyone's saying here in a moment.
Take a look at what happened.
Cycle of violence, man. Cycle of violence. I gotta say, man, like, I'm no major Trump fanboy, but of course I support Trump before Biden. But just watching this, I got that feeling in my stomach, like when you become to get like a cortisol spike, an adrenaline rush, sort of, with kind of anger. Like, I felt as if, I don't know. I hate to use this word, but I don't know. Like, I was, like, molested. I felt like I was just watching, dude, imagine he dies, you know what I'm saying? Like, right after this happened, I'm looking at this, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, I felt like we were just reached out and touched, The violence, I've always thought that it's a matter of time before something like this happens. It's a no-brainer. Everyone's thought that. Everybody hates Trump. I don't even necessarily love him. But to see something like this in today, in 2024, right? Now, you have to be careful. The current year means nothing. The current year argument, it's a logical fallacy. Why wouldn't an assassination attempt happen today? And yet, a lot of people, when they see something like this, you know, that facade of like protection of the U.S. being top dog, invincible, untouchable, it completely falls, right? Anybody can be touched, even the president, even if you hate Trump, right? But I think it sealed the deal for his elections. I really like this alone, man. What an iconic moment, because in front of the world, this man was shot, and it was a grotesque, disgusting display of the delusional hatred directed towards Trump at the I don't want to say the height, but in a surge of outrage. We have Project 2025 PSYOP that is now really ticking up. It's scaring people. Trump has come out and said he's not affiliated with it. If you look at Google Trends, Google Analytics, you'll see that people are going nuts over this fucking Project 2025. They look at it as a direct threat of democracy. People said Trump was a threat to democracy last time, but I think their pleas are more desperate. They have not stopped believing that, and in fact have only become more entrenched in their beliefs that Trump is a direct threat to democracy. They see Project 2025 and they go haywire. They look at that as a more poignant threat than the ones that had even been facing them before that. And then things like this are the natural byproduct, the natural result. Of course, I don't know that who shot him, if he was even shot, is a Trump hater. Okay, logic tells you, yeah, you know, it's reasonable to assume that, right? They tried to shoot him. You know, so if we're operating under the assumption that this was driven by pure Trump hatred and not just mental illness, schizophrenia, whatever, I don't know. I think it's a perfect example of like the natural endpoint to where the type of rhetoric that's been simmering for the past few years, where it ends. I mean, of course. And I want to direct your attention. Number one, this is a fucking iconic moment. I don't care who you are, man. That's a fucking boss move. Right there, optically. You replay it. After he gets shot, if that's what happens, he fucking chants, dude. Got blood on his face and shit. Like, that's... I'm sorry, man. Like, that's crazy. Number one, if you're actually an American, if that was Biden up there, I'd probably get that same twinge of anger, frustration, that weird feeling as if I'd been violated. That's the word, violated. If that was Biden, I would have felt equally as violated. And I feel violated when I see something like this happen to Trump. Of course, I'm biased because I, you know, would prefer him over others, but when you have this on display, this such hatred, oops, sorry, that was still going there, the sound. A lot of the undecideds are going to see this and say, I don't want to get down with the hate anymore. I'm done. I'm tired. Even if it's out of exhaustion, I'm fucking tired of the anti-Trump this. I hate Trump that. Trump did this. Trump did that. I'm so fucking tired. This man is getting shot on TV. He turns back to the crowd. Quite the opposite of a coward. And he pumps his fist and chants to the crowd. Like, dude, optically, that's a fucking disaster for the leftists. Because it could have been leftist motivated. Even if the leftists didn't pull the trigger, they're stoking the flames of hate and violence. The establishment, which is left-leaning by default. That chant right there is the fucking makes it, man. I didn't even really want to stream. I was in the middle of writing when my cousin texted me about this, so sorry if I'm not fully enthusiastic about this. I know I should be, in the sense of what a crazy fucking story this is. But frankly, I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? I'm just not surprised. I'm pulling something up. Give me some, just give me 1 sec on the back end here. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, guys. Appreciate you. Where did I put you? This is the photo I'm talking about. Shit's gonna be iconic. Hold on. Like, what a great photo. This is, in a more just world, this shit would be on, like, Time cover. And it probably will be, because, I mean, if a president gets shot, if that's truly what happened, you know? Oh, let me take away the be right back text, my bad. Like, look at that, man. Come on. Like, that's crazy. That's an iconic fucking photograph right there, dude. Alright? I don't care what you think about Trump. And let's not even, you know, I haven't even introduced the idea, brought into the conversation, how strong this makes him in the midst of nationwide conversation about Biden's cognitive impairment, his advanced age, his weakness, okay? Biden has lately been trying to posture himself. He's being a bad, bad boy, entrenching himself deeper in the presidency. He's not taking the advice of his people to step down. He's saying, nope, I'm perfectly fine. I can sniff up here on stage all I want. I promise I didn't fall asleep. I was just looking down the whole time. Oh, you think I look confused? I'm not confused. Like, you know, and then you see Trump, who possibly just got shot on live television. Rather than falling to the floor, as most people would out of fear, terror, as the Secret Service tackles you, you fucking turn around after gunshots and you fucking face the crowd and you chant. Yo, good luck outframing your way out of that one. If it was a lefty shooter, and I argue that this is the product of leftist outrage flame stoking anyway, you know, they made this. This was a product of their own doing, a consequence of their own doing. This is where the hate got them. All that hate they stoked, it might have just cost them the election. If Biden's debate performance didn't absolutely eradicate any chance of Biden winning, this, in my opinion, just sealed the deal. I know it's technically still up in the air. There are variables at play that really do make me wonder what might happen between now and the elections to secure a Biden presidency once again instead of a Trump one. And if not Biden, a Kamala presidency, a dark horse presidency perhaps, because we know that the lefties years ago, there's no way that the money men of the DNC who dump millions into candidates pull the power levers. There's no way that they confidently put their weight, money, power, and influence behind Biden, fully confident that he was cognitively all there. So what I've been saying is they knowingly got him in there. But what else did they know? If they knew that he was likely cognitive, you have to be blind and deaf to not know that he was impaired. So what I'm saying is I wouldn't be surprised if there is a dark horse element to all this, because if I were a DNC money man funding presidential candidates like Biden, throwing my weight around, I would be simultaneously prepping a dark horse candidate in complete secrecy in the case that Biden fails, in the case that he has to be removed, in the case that his cognitive impairment, you know, becomes too much. My theory as to Kamala being mysteriously absent from any public discourse over the years is because they know that she's so horrendously disliked and hated. Like worse than Hillary Clinton's hot sauce moment in 2016, when Kamala referenced "Not Like Us," Kendrick Lamar. We out here on these streets, yeah, they not like us, baby. It's like she's a robot that was sent here to like learn the behavior of the lowest common denominator of people. So they keep her in a shed locked up somewhere, knowing that if she speaks freely, she's going to fuck it up so bad to the point where she's tainted, and a Kamala presidency would not be feasible in the case that Biden has to be trumped, or he dies of a heart attack, or people just oust him, right? So they need to leave Kamala's reputation, being as she's hated sufficiently already, they need to make sure nothing else bad, that reputation doesn't plummet even further. So they kind of keep her in the background, just in case they got to whip her out. Dark horse, like I said, could be that too. I mean, we're cutting it close timing-wise, so they really might be putting their bets on Biden, although they're not happy about it. As I always say, lefties, they eat themselves. You can never be black enough, you can never be gay enough, you can never be progressive enough. When there's all but a few left standing, those few will devolve into madness. You haven't been sufficiently, I don't know, you have too much privilege, more privilege than me. Eventually, you know, it's like it's not a sustainable belief system. Because in the end, it just results in just them eating each other. Let's check in on current news. I appreciate you guys jumping in the chat here. A long time no see. I've been extremely busy. I mean, with my day job is one thing, but like I said, I've got a bunch of projects that I got going on in the background here that I'm actively working on. I've told you a little bit about those. The Pizzagate Power Hierarchy book will be out later this year. It's coming along with the website. I've ranted and raved about it. I know. I can only tell you guys what's in the works so long before you're like, okay, show it to me already. Jesus. But these things take time, man. I'm only one person that works a full-time job. I don't stop. Wake up at 5, get home at 7 p.m., and then I just continue working on this until bed, and then I repeat, you know? There's only so much I can do in a day. It's still really messy. Pull this up, get the news as I look through this.
That could have been somebody who was right there. Although what we see is that there was somebody, everybody turned off, you know, to President Trump's right, and they were all looking out that direction. And so I'm waiting to find out where this individual, where they actually, you know, engaged him and basically killed him.
I knew it. I knew it. I guarantee you that shooter's dead. I guarantee you that second volley of gunfire was mag dumping the shooter.
I want to find that out because it looks like the round did come from President Trump's right-hand side. He was turned to the right, and he got winged in the ear. He got grazing fire in the ear, and he has an injury there. And it could be that somebody was aiming for his head, and was something like that.
One dead at Trump rally.
He could have done a lot of things.
And it ain't Trump.
You know, and that basically was very fortuitous.
Trump shooting latest. Shooter and audience member dead. As bloodied former president tells supporters to fight. That's what it was. I saw him chanting something. Fight. 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 Yo.
World, before they're acting out in the real world, they're usually active as you can imagine in the virtual world. And
Donald Trump Jr. sent out a post. He'll never stop fighting to save America. Like I said, that is the image, guys. That is the image, the 2024 presidential elections right here. Biden doesn't care enough about anything to chant fight, 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 unless somebody deprives him of the ability to take showers with his family members, his young family members.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue with this developing story and everything that you've been able to provide to this context. We're going to see you up
I'm reading the
just
chat.
A little bit.
I'm reading the chat on my phone.
Stick with us here, though. Hal, I want to continue on with kind of the next steps. I did have a question when it comes to this rally and everything that happened there. I did see that almost immediately after they escorted the president, the former president, out of there, everybody kind of dispersed and all of the attendees left. Is that protocol? Would it
Where's
be
the
almost beneficial to?
Where's the Mark Violet's intel coming from? I imagine they're actively scrubbing everything as we speak. That's what happens with every shooter. I saw someone else comment, you know, guys, there are things that are real, there there are real people out there that hate Trump, and that's basically what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I mean, there's lots of events that are orchestrated, but sometimes hate is just good enough on its own. We have to wait for more information. The digital trail of the shooter, whoever it is, perhaps it's Mark Violets, like the viewer dropped in the chat. I'll look into that. We have to wait for more evidence. We have to take a look at the shooter's digital trail, figure it out.
And so they're going to be doing a lot of that. They will probably move them out, and I would hope in an orderly manner. That's been an issue with crowd control, and that's one of the things I do is I work on what's called crowd management, train crowd managers for incidents like this on how we move people from point A to point B to where we can control the situation and do all these other things that have to be done. And hopefully that's the case. Now, there have been events in the past where there was a shooter and sometimes the crowd disperses and it happens so quickly that there isn't a lot of control on where they go. And then it's very difficult because they have to go back and figure out who was there. And it can make for a very lengthy investigative process. And there can be gaps in the investigation because they're trying to figure out who was there and who wasn't there. So they're going to be doing that. The other thing they're going to be doing is they're also going to be looking at all the video from people's cell phones, from media, from everything else. And they're going to be trying to identify everybody who was at this rally. They want who they are, why they were there.
All right, let's look at
They're gonna
4chan.
want all the information they possibly can. They're going to interview each and every one of them. And they're also going to...
Let me check the audio.
That there could have been, depending on what they find out, they're going to be looking initially to find out if there are any other potential co-conspirators, if you will. Somebody that could have been in the crowd that was planning on either that was doing something to assist the shooter, or
all right, we're good.
there in some sort of assistant sort of role. Maybe they were a backup shooter or something. There could be a lot of different scenarios that they have to rule out very quickly. Secret Service is extremely good at this. They know the mind of a would-be assassin or assassins probably better than anybody else in the world.
Damn, Ruth K said, on July 8th, Biden said, quote, "We're done talking about the debate. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye." Yeah, I don't recall that, but I don't doubt it, right? See, if they weren't so biased, you know, that would be the equivalent of Trump's bloodbath comment, right?
As far as what to look for. And so they're going to be doing all of these things, but they're also going to be collecting...
Or is it a Politico quote? Regardless, I think that's, you know, it's not an outlandish quote to have made either as Biden or a media outlet.
From them as well. And of course, it's an active crime scene. I mean, not only has a former president been injured...
Private citizen, that's a fucking leader. Hell yeah, man. I gotta say. Love him, hate him, you know what I mean? Powerful display of endurance. I don't doubt it's real at all, man. I've always said that I think the most present... How do I explain it? The most prominent aspect of fakery, false flagging, shit, like, I feel oftentimes, almost all the time, you know, the victims are going to be real. It's just that the entire narrative around it is what's concocted and simulated. Now, I'm not talking about wartime combat situations, but domestic, I mean. You know, for example, like 9/11, you know, people say there were no passengers, there might have been planes, but there's multiple theories. You guys know what I'm talking about. But, you know, people who promote that idea, I don't blame them, right? I entertained it for a while. I took a long time researching no planes and all that. Maybe I'm the crazy one. But they forget that in their cynical pursuit in thinking that such a horrible thing was faked, I mean, they don't stop to think about why would they care so much to spare the lives of people. They seem to enjoy killing so much. It's really easy just to lob a fucking plane into those buildings, man. They'd cover it up, you know? I think a lot of the lies come into place with carefully crafted narratives, carefully crafted witness testimony, very carefully chosen, selected witnesses, well-crafted testimonies, the things that have gotten us into war, like the WMDs, the babies and incubators, right? Now, of course, the babies could be fake. Maybe there was no babies, but you get what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, I'm open to either side. Yeah, they could fake things entirely. start to finish, bottom to top. I think it's just more resource intensive and not very logical to do that. It's a lot easier, and plus we've seen how easy it is to disconnect people from reality just through social media. I mean, think about the Trump derangement syndrome. Half of those folks suffering from TDS, they believe the way they do, and they're so radicalized against Trump because they've been detached from reality through the technological mechanisms, social media, internet, and so on. Right? So they don't live in reality, and yet they do. Right? So it's quite powerful. You can convince people entire elementary schools, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not even going to go there. 2 people dead. Let's check. This one said... The wording here is weird. The headline says 1 dead at Trump rally, but then it says shooter and audience member dead. So what I'm thinking is that might be bad wording. They either mean 2 people are dead, meaning the shooter and the audience member, or the shooter was an audience member, aka shooter and audience member dead. Singer and songwriter is dead. You get what I'm saying? It's not a singer and a songwriter. I'm not quite sure how to read that. Let's keep checking.
Security precautions at a rally like this, and if that's the case, it may be a smaller caliber weapon. Could be a 22, 25, could be a 380.
The guy's a bad shot, whoever he is.
In terms of the type of ballistics involved.
Sorry, I'm very distractible. I'm trying to keep this on track, but... Oh, that's what I wanted to show you. Naturally, Reddit devolves into madness. Here's some comments from them.
Was that how they were hit? Could it have been somebody that was closer to the shooter?
They turn, but I don't know if you know this, but they turn into conspiracy theorists as long as it suits their narrative. I'd like to read some out loud for you.
We have no information on that right now, and so we're going to find out more about that.
One user on Reddit stated, looking at the tape, regardless of your opinion of Trump, incredible performance by his Secret Service. Okay, that's cool. Response? Only a piece of shit would put their life on the line for a worthless, corrupted, cowardly maggot like Trump. Totally normal people. And now, like I said, because it's beneficial to them fleetingly, transiently, and temporarily, and it suits their narrative, the conspiracies come flowing in for the leftists. Code for Kicks on Reddit says, clear MAGA false flag, pussies.
Hal, I do want to bring up this photo that we just got into our newsroom.
Vice, oh. Hold on.
Very jarring images that we see there. The moment, it seems, when former President Trump ducked down behind the podium, you see the blood trickling down his face. It must have been so scary for him, as it was for people that attended this rally. I'd like you to tell our viewers a little bit about the Secret Service detail that does follow the former president. You had mentioned earlier in our conversation, he is
so fucked up.
Sitting president, but still, he does have heavy security around him.
Really does make me feel some sort of way, man.
How that works.
You know, like I'm the last person to be like, oh, fucking MAGA, I love Trump.
The sitting president has other things that they have to be concerned with.
But I do like the fella.
Commander-in-chief, so they have to maintain.
Dude, I'll go to war if I get 5 a.m. Trump on the toilet tweets talking shit about our foreign adversaries' puny nuclear missile arsenal. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not convinced they're legit either. But, like, you know what the issue is with that is, like, it's circular in that, like, we can never prove it in a way. Like, I'll always get down with auditing elections like I did, you know, for those of you that have been with me since the last election, 2020. I was all over it. Don't doubt it at all. But, I don't know, I just hit a fucking dead end eventually where I just get fatigued by it all, you know? But yeah, I don't doubt it. But I like to... I provide commentary and I talk about politics under the guise of everybody else that has agreed that collectively we have to agree that, like, the democratic process is largely untouched in terms of voting. Now, is that true? lobbying, money, blackmail, like, you know the deal. But when I provide commentary, you know, I gotta keep one foot into the normal world, right? If I keep both feet in our world, it gets fucking weird.
On your screen, we do have some more breaking news from the Associated Press saying law enforcement officials say shooting at Trump rally is being investigated as attempted assassination of ex-president.
There it is.
Those are powerful
There it
words
is.
to hear
It was an
today,
assassination attempt,
especially after
official.
seeing what happened at that rally. What do we make of this?
Well, what I make of this is what I kind of expected. I mean, if somebody was killed, in whatever happened, if there was a bystander that was killed, and of course, you know, the former president was wounded, even though it's not a serious or life-threatening wound, if
They
you will,
want to infect you with
you
hate.
have to assume, you have to look at this and say, look, that was a bona fide attempted assassination. That's
so now that we know,
somebody was trying to.
hold on, let me do an audio check again real quick.
President Trump, and it's fortunate that it did not happen, that he was grazed, and you know, Secret Service was able to get him out of there, get him to safety, and whatever did happen, you know, whatever.
Apologize, guys. I don't have a second monitor set up yet. I'm lazy. I haven't bought one. I don't want to spend the money. So I have to keep manually checking the audio every time I switch media. What was I going to say?
Unless there's some compelling evidence that it wasn't an attempted assassination.
Exactly.
That would be kind of a immediate default of what you.
But yeah, now that they've confirmed that it was an assassination, I think that lends credence to the potential that it was, you know, a radical lefty of one flavor or another. But, you know, there's some right-wingers out there that I just don't know what any right-winger would be concerned about or angry enough about. Like, I don't see an angry, far right-winger try to kill Trump over his denouncement of Project 2025, for example. I think it's far more likely that a leftist shot Trump over Project 2025 in an attempt to stop it, right? Fucking war mode. Shout out war mode. Shout out Corey, a war mode soldier, a real soldier here in the information cognitive battle space, the technological hellscape that I call home. Welcome, fucking war mode, dude.
That obviously, if somebody was killed, then whatever use of force
fucking war mode, bruh.
The would-be assassin or the shooter had was serious enough that they could have obviously.
Let's see what else is going on.
Trump, had they, you know, had they hit him, if there had been a different type of shot.
Yup, suspected shooter is dead.
Kind of treat that as an attempted assassination. Right now there would be no other conclusion I certainly could come to that this was anything but a attempted.
Yup, the suspected shooter who wounded Trump is dead, along with one bystander. All right.
When they didn't know if
the suspected shooter, along with one bystander, is dead.
There was some speculation.
Yup. Butler County District Attorney Richard Goldinger said 2 people are dead, including an apparent shooter. Fuck, man. I want the identity of the shooter. Mark Violet. Let's look that up.
Obviously, this is nothing like that. This was a bona fide attempt to, you know, assassinate a political candidate, and they were using a weapon capable.
So this could be where that rumor came in. I'm saying rumor because I have not yet confirmed it myself. I'm seeing posts here. I looked up Mark Violet, as per the guy in the chat that left a comment. And user Israel75 breaking. Per the Butler Police Department, the Trump shooter has been arrested at the scene, but this could be and is likely bullshit because I bet you that guy is a content creator on YouTube. It just looks like that. Plus he says arrested, so I think that's just like bullshit. We'll see. God, I miss the, fuck man, this reminds me back in the day when we do the happening streams, dude, like El Paso, when we fucking sniffed out the John of God connection to the El Paso shooting in live time together, listen to the police scanner audio and shit. It's awesome, dude. Let's see what the air is like over there.
Following this breaking news from earlier today in Butler, Pennsylvania, 2 people dead, excuse me. The shooter and also an attendee that attended
Right now I'm just
the
pulling up
Trump
maps
rally.
and
We
active
did
flight radar. I
hear
want to
that
see if
moment
they're
live
bringing in
and
any
we'll be
big boys
playing
to
it
the
for you
area.
throughout the course of this evening in case you have missed it, so you can see
I
the
need to find
moment
out where
that
Butler,
all
PA
of
is
this
first,
unfolded. I would like to go ahead
because I'm
and
geographically
reset now that we're
retarded.
about to hit the top of the hour here. We're going to continue our commentary. We are nonstop as we continue to get more information from this. Again, a shooting at a Trump rally from earlier today now being investigated as an attempted assassination. If you are just joining us now, watch the moments this all unfolded.
Helicopter
Before we do
circling
showcase
Butler.
that, as I said, this is developing and we continue to get breaking news. We have President Biden tweeting on this event. Take a look here.
Let's
He
see if
says
we can
this:
find whose
"I
news
have
chopper
been
that is.
briefed
Oh, it's the
following
police.
shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania
I am
State Police Bureau of
grateful to hear
Emergency
that he's
Special
safe and
Operations
doing well.
helicopter,
I'm
which
praying for him and
obviously,
his family
duh.
and
I
for
was just
all
wondering if
those
they,
who were at the
you know,
rally.
sent any
We await
sneaky
further
Pete's over.
information.
Not that we would
Jill and
necessarily
I
be
are
able to see them
grateful
on
to the
radar, but,
Secret
you know, this is a
Service.
pretty good
And
radar
those
for
of you
those
are
that don't
echoing
know.
similar statements that we heard
ADSB
from
exchange.
former President Trump earlier today as he thanked law enforcement and also the Secret Service agents that helped during that time as we heard those shots ring out during that rally. The former president taking to the podium and speaking at around 6 p.m. Eastern time. That rally was supposed to happen at 5 p.m. Eastern time. It was about an hour late. About 5 minutes into
See what
the
Reddit
former
says.
president speaking is when those shots first rang out. But again, here on your screen, we are finally getting official word and a statement from President Biden saying, again, I have been briefed on the shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. I'm grateful to hear that he's safe and doing well. I'm praying for him and his family and for all those who were at the rally as we await further information. Jill and I are grateful to the Secret Service. Again, though, if you are just joining us, we have just hit the top of the hour. And
Yeah, man. People are just commenting. There's nothing crazy, but
moment that all of that unfolded earlier today in Butler, Pennsylvania. Let's watch.
And look what happened.
I really feel like there's some change in the air, man. Like, I feel like the floodgates, like somebody released the pressure, like, not a pressure valve, but it's almost as if somebody, like, has lessened their grip and taken a step back from the nonstop demoralization, psychic terror tactics, shoving the shit down our throats. Like, it's still very much present, but after the Biden cognitive decline in the debate, man, I just feel like I'm seeing I don't know, people are way more open to this type of shit. Let's rewatch this for those that might have missed it. I'd be very surprised if any of you missed it.
And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
See, that last shot is interesting, because that last shot is after quite a long pause. Listen. That's what? That's over 5 seconds. That's crazy. I don't know if that would be law enforcement or what, but... Fucking A, man. What a world, bro. Things are gonna get wild, man. You know, and people talk about elections, election year. Election year is gonna be crazy, and they're not lying. It's just that we're hurtling to a world of non-stop synthetic pandemics, non-stop psychic car bombs and infiltrators, non-stop dreamweavers coming at you after you close your fucking eyelids. You can't even escape them. You have kids, finally, some solace, some comfort, somebody I could put all my hope and love into, and before you know it, Skechers adverts with naked 5-year-olds with wheelie bopping Skechers shoes, are flying at them. Algo suggesting naked kids and Satan. It's a mess out there. It's a real mess.
That he's grateful to hear that he's safe and doing well. Biden saying, I'm praying for him and his family and for all of those who were at the rally.
It's after 4 p.m., so Biden had to be awakened from his little nappy poo. They said, Sir, you got drool around your mouth. Sir, I got bad news. The president has been shot. Biden, at that point, didn't realize he's talking to somebody that doesn't have the highest level clearance, and he says, oh, you did it early? And he's like, wait, what? What the fuck? No. What? You did it early? No. Someone shot the president. It's an awful thing. Fuck, man. It's crazy. Oh, what do we got? A missed connection here in the memory hold chat? Two people uniting under unexpected circumstances? Yeah, good job, Dylan. Yeah, that's the thing, guys. I know a lot of us don't need to hear this, but I'm going to tell you this right now. When things like this happen, let's say that right now, Anons over on Poll are probably scouring what info we have on the shooter, if there is any evidence or information that gives us metadata to find the shooter. And I know this because I'm usually part of these groups. When I catch the incident, when I'm home and in a perfect situation to really sit down, buckle down, and research, right, in live time, they're probably trying to identify them now if they're able to get some breadcrumbs of information. But when that happens, the worst thing that you can do, I know you want to get information out there fast, as quickly as possible, right? You're not only fighting censorship, possible removal of this information by higher powers and basic law enforcement purposes, protocol, but you're also, racing to optimize and capitalize on people's attention on a certain topic. So in doing so, you vie to screenshot things instead of taking the extra steps, which is longer, to open archive.is, copy the URL, paste the URL into the archive, and make sure it's secured, fully secured. And by the way, when I say you, I'm talking about all of us, ya boy included. Bro, I'm trying to write this book, okay? The pizza stuff, and it's a complete reconstruction of the theory from an investigative point of view. I'm not just saying here are the big findings. It's the entire theory from spawn to present, okay? Down to the smallest little nuanced details around who found what, when it was found, a timeline, etc., right? In doing that, it's scary how close we are, guys, to that entire body of knowledge and information just no longer existing through good-intentioned people's inaction or laziness. For me, it's laziness. I can be lazy. I do a lot, and then I miss something like that. My point is, trying to reconstruct it for the book, it's just dead link after dead link after dead link. Great, there's a screenshot. That's still in existence, but what is the point of a screenshot, guys? If it's not attributed to any link. Think about Chrissy Teigen. All those screenshots, she could just say they're fake if nobody took the time to archive the actual tweet URLs themselves. Because that is the game changer. Because that's a true archive. Anyway, I was just thinking about that recently because I was literally, as I said, I was writing when this broke, and I took a break, and I just had that on my mind, how fucking, I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on people. Thank God these people documented what they did. I'm just saying that really does, that makes or breaks entire stories. And I try and think about the people of the future that are going to try and make sense of what we've allowed to happen. And they're going to, if we still have a digital infrastructure with accessible archives in that format, links, they're going to want answers, and they're going to go looking for those answers through archive links, because they'll know the people who archived them were the ones diligent enough and cared enough about the world to make sure that somebody is able to piece together the fucking madness that has seemingly infected the entire world. And it just, hopefully they don't have to piece the picture back together after the bombs drop, for example, or a virus wipes us out. You know what I'm saying? Archive, guys. Archive. I shit my pants every time I get a 404 for a Wayback Machine. So anyway, in a moment like this, that's what you want to do when it comes to shooter identity and stuff. Archive the Facebook page if you find it. I don't care if it's speculative.
They will try and
Better safe than sorry, in other words.
access control. They will look at line of sight of potential would-be assassins, of where they might position themselves. They look at all sorts of things. They're also looking at how do they get the protectee onto the stage? How do they get them off the stage? Where do they position the beast, the vehicle, if you will?
There's always a lot of filler shit that these people have to talk about as they wait for new information. Like when they're talking about how the Secret Service people are positioned and how they're supposed to stand immediately following an assassination attempt on the president, you know that basically they've just got nothing else to say until the next batch of data comes in.
Something that, I mean, it's ingrained in terms of what they do. There's a school. They go through the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, the famous FLETC school at Brunswick, Georgia. I've done training in Brunswick, Georgia, at what's called FLETC out there. But then they go and do additional training, and one of the places they go is to a place near Washington, D.C. called Beltsville. And it's they actually have a full compound, if you will. It's a very extensive thing where they do everything you could possibly imagine in terms of thwarting assassinations. And they go through an extensive training program there where they are vehicular ambushes, everything you can possibly imagine.
Appreciate you guys watching some filler coverage here, I guess.
By the time they get out there and
very interesting, man. Things are only going to get more violence. I don't like the accelerationist idea, their doctrine, you know, their idea. The quicker the violence comes, the better. Let's get it over with. I'm sure it's a more complicated idea than that, but you get what I mean. I think should avoid it at all costs. We got here not through violence, but through gradual subversion and infiltration, through like the Fabian method of permeation and gradualism, which is essentially an ideological revolution, not a physical one. Underdogs, since they don't have access to the power apparatuses, they need to be creative, which is what we see with guerrilla warfare, the Viet Cong, the Afghans.
When President Trump was running for president,
so they infiltrate all the sectors of society that have a say, that pulls a lever, that has a hand on any lever. But ideally, the most important lever is the lever that controls, molds, and creates perception, people's shared collective perception of reality. That shares a full collective fact base. Hold on.
We're hearing that President Biden will be speaking very shortly. This is and we just lost the image. We have another angle that we're watching for, but we've
got another angle. Another angle just came in. That's Glenn. I don't know why he's on screen.
Is standing by right now. We're going to bring him in.
Right.
Andrew,
sorry,
I want to point
I just
out
heard
also
them say
that
breaking.
we're hearing in from Jackie Heinrich. The Biden campaign tells
what I'm saying is the lever that you want to pull, and they've pulled successfully, is the lever of perception. They infiltrated academia. They infiltrated the media, Hollywood. Essentially, they have accessed every column of power that's required to sort of acquire power without physical force. They don't have the weapons cache, right? They don't have the firepower. So they need to be crafty, creative, innovative. And that's what they did. The way around that, to subvert the power structures, to infiltrate it and subvert it from the inside, to never speak your loyalty to what you're doing, why you're doing it. You just promote your belief openly in the sector or job that you're in, and slowly turn everybody in your vicinity onto your side in some way or another, whether you convince them or just make them more open to the idea, more receptive, less angry at it, for example. And remember, this does nothing. You're probably thinking to yourself, if I started doing that at the office tomorrow, like nothing's going to change. But what I'm talking about is like, it's that thought right there that's got us where we are, because that's short-term thinking, right? We have to think generationally. Yeah, you might not see any significant difference, but if you do that, then you have 4 kids, 2 of whom do the same thing, right? That's what they've done. I'm not just bullshitting here. This is what they've done. They all follow the same ideology, and they said we need to flip people's perception of reality so they're open to our ideas. And now we're here. Now we're seeing those ideas. How do we fix it? How do we fix it?
Theme and feature of the Trump movement since he came down the golden escalator.
You try, number one. Like, that would be a good start.
And throughout the duration of the last 8-9 years, we've seen protesters
but people,
out of Trump rallies.
I don't know, people think that, like, to do anything to save us from this bullshit, it requires violence or an overthrow or civil war, but I'm not entirely convinced of that, because if you dismantled the mechanisms in which they used to cast their spells, aka mold perception, detach people from reality, have people delusional over Trump, believe in total bullshit, despite the complete contrary easily available with a few clicks. But their system's so overridden by the algorithm that they just say, fuck that. Anybody that says there's objective evidence to the contrary of my belief must be one of them. That's crazy. If you destroy their capability to do that, like, you might be surprised how, like, the mysterious aches and pains of our society that we're experiencing right now just goes away. In my opinion. Oh, President's on.
Peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And
Trump is speaking, or
everybody
Biden
must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I am able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. But so far, it appears he's doing well, number one. Number two, that there's thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports.
Oh, thanks, Allie. I'm glad you're still with me.
Federal government, and I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Has anything happened? They learned in
What's up, Riley?
a couple hours. So thank you very much, and I hope I get to speak to them tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do. Okay?
Mr. President, do you think there was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough to. I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts. So I want to make sure we have all the facts before.
He's not committing to the assassination attempt.
President,
Dude, people are so delusional around Trump that they'll say, unironically, I watched the footage, and in typical Trump fashion, he didn't even bleed good enough. Can we really entrust democracy with someone who bleeds as pathetically as that? Look, he doesn't even look scared that he just got shot. How pathetic. Does he not care about his well-being at all? Can we trust a leader who doesn't even care about his own life? Like, that's crazy framing. I'm already seeing some of that on Reddit, guys. And you see the power behind that? The power lies in the framing of an incident, not in perpetrating the incident itself.
Okay, so we missed
entirely,
the
at
very
least.
beginning of those remarks. I want to
Obviously, something as large as a successful assassination of a world leader, obviously that takes, that's way more impactful, right?
play those back. Here's
We have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you.
So he's not committing.
Maybe able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if we don't.
Kind of makes sense. I don't know. There's still a lot up in the air, but everyone's saying, you know, he's dead.
The rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea
Okay.
that there's political violence or violence.
All right. Yeah, we heard this. This is filler.
It's just not appropriate.
This is filler.
Everybody must condemn it. Everybody.
While you guys are watching, hit the link tree. That'd be great. Those of you that are interested in watching my stuff, you're here after all.
So far, it appears he's doing well, number one. Number two, that there's thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, I'm going back to my phone.
I just put that in the chat. That's all my links in one place, guys. I still get a lot of messages where to find me, where I'm at. Granted, I have been more inactive recently for quite a long time, but I'm working on projects in the background. As I said, look, you know, we've got the book in the works, we've got all this. I mean, it's taken fucking forever, guys, but I'm working on stuff. I just haven't been able to put out videos like you know, like normal. Okay. But if you want to copy the book when it comes out, you want to see the website, just bookmark the link tree, okay? Guys keep losing track of me. I don't blame them. I've been banned everywhere, okay? And this is what it's like. I've got my appearances on the podcasts I've done all the way at the bottom, my documentaries, the Mouthy Buddha documentaries I helped them with. All right? And just like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate that. It does help me algorithmically. Let's continue listening.
We know that Butler, Pennsylvania is about an hour's drive north of Pittsburgh, and before we
can someone check the Latin long of Butler, PA, and the gematria value of the spelling of Butler, PA, and cross-reference that with the constellations? July 13th, 2024, Sagittarius, is it up there? Does it correspond?
And that hopefully the two will speak eventually. We know the former president is still at the hospital recovering. We're hearing he's in good spirits, but President Biden, his key political rival, did reach out as well. We're hearing from former presidents too, former President George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama, all issuing statements as well. But there are so many questions about what happened there at the rally. We have Hal Kemper on, who has extensive experience with counterterrorism.
Al Kemper, the great uncle of serial killer Edmund Kemper. He's got a lot to say about this.
Law enforcement, Hal, you yourself have worked in trainings with Secret Service officials. I want to read the statement in from the Secret Service spokesperson. His name is Anthony Guglielmi. They say this: an incident occurred the evening of July 13th at a Trump rally in Pennsylvania.
Badass.
The Secret Service has implemented protective measures, and former president is
badass picture.
Active Secret Service investigation, and further information will be released.
Folks, you should have seen it. The assassin, he had a big gun, a huge gun, probably the biggest gun. And you know what I did with that gun? I let him shoot me. I took a bullet for you. And let me tell you, it was nothing. It was nothing. These people, they're nothing.
That the suspect, the shooter in this, who is now dead, was taken out by members of a Secret Service task force there on the ground in Boston.
Oh, here we go. Let's check this out.
What do you make of those developments? Because the secret...
Bear with me. The fuck? I just had it up. There it is. Let's see this. Yo, where did you go? Give me 1 sec, guys. I'm a fucking mess. Just bear with me. There it is. This BBC interview with a guy outside the security perimeter who claims he saw the shooter before he fired is absolutely wild. Posted by Warren Sharp at Sharp Football, 7:20 p.m. So a little while ago, but we've been watching the news primarily. Let's check this out.
Someone who was here, you weren't inside the event, but you were just outside. Tell us what you saw and what.
So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us at the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party, and we all decided, hey, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees up there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally. Right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, but we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why did they not hold him up?
Yeah, that is a Trump 2020 hat with the 0 at the end crossed out with Sharpie.
Stage. I'm standing there pointing at him.
Did you write a 4 over it?
For 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here?
That's what people were saying, even on Reddit. I mean, that's the first thing anyone says, how does this happen? But it is true. But I guess it was just a rally. I don't know. There was all sorts of explanations for it.
Not a big place.
Did you see, I mean, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
Damn. I put that poll up, but honestly, it might be confirmed already. I should check up on that.
The guy was
Like, they might have already confirmed all this to be true. This was posted an hour ago.
on the roof right there. You can see the white roof right there.
Did you get a look at him? Could you?
No, other than he was in muted colors, tan type clothing. We saw the rifle flinging around as he was trying to crawl. I mean, we saw the rifle, 100%.
Do you know about guns? Do you know?
So he's saying it is a rifle. I'm not a gunsman, not a gunman. I'm not a gunsman, meaning a gun expert, the accurate way to describe a gun expert. But that sounded like I don't know, I don't want to say like a large caliber, but I don't know. I immediately thought rifle rather than pistol. I don't know why. Or handgun, you know what I mean?
What kind of weapon it was?
Oh, I absolutely know about guns, for sure. No, I mean, it was a rifle of some sort. I wouldn't know, I wasn't close enough to read the label on it, but it was a rifle of some sort. Yeah, absolutely.
I think he was in the crowd, so it looks like the reports are saying 2 people are dead, actually. One in the crowd and the gunman.
How do you process what you've just seen?
I don't know what to say, man.
That's just what they're saying.
All I'll tell you is, if I walked up close to there with anything that Secret Service considered a problem, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now. But I don't know why a guy who we're standing there pointing out to police and Secret Service is crawling up the roof. Yes, right there by that tree. We were outside the security perimeter. But my question is, there's only a few buildings around here. Why is Secret Service not on every building here?
So I guess that's kind of important. He's just, someone asked, was this outside the security perimeter? Which I take to mean the area in which Secret Service would be watching like hawks, right? And this guy, the purported witness who saw the shooter, says, yeah, we were. Meaning, it's not outrageous then that this gunman would be missed because it took place. His perch was outside. It was in the grassy knoll. They weren't looking at the grassy knoll. It was outside the security perimeter, right? But he's saying, but why was the perimeter that way to begin with? Like, especially if it's an elevated position, I get the impression, this guy is saying that he climbed up to the roof or something, right, of a building. So it's elevated. That's naturally, that's Jesus Christ, I'm surprised there isn't like an FBI sharpshooter already up there in the same way they watch the Super Bowl. For those of you who don't know, the amount of guns you have pointed at your fucking skull if you happen to have enough money to attend a Super Bowl in person is extraordinary. You know what I'm saying? Let alone a rally, So I guess my point is, his point rather, is why wasn't it part of the security perimeter as a elevated position? Is that what I think that's what he's saying.
How do you process what you've just seen?
I don't know what to say, man. All I'll tell you is, if I walked up close to there with anything that Secret Service considered a problem, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now. But I don't know why a guy who we're standing there pointing out to police and Secret Service is crawling up the roof.
Yeah, it's interesting. So right there, he's commenting on the strange juxtaposition where, you know, the place that he entered the area from was crawling and secure enough with Secret Service to the point where he wouldn't have made it at all if he were a gunman. And yet the guy, the shooter, who climbed up to the elevated perch, which he's trying to stress, and I don't know if we're clear on the satellite data, like which building exactly, but he's basically saying, I get the impression he's trying to say that it's weird that that place wasn't as secure as this place where I was, given the fact that, I don't know, elevated position, perfect vantage point, you know what I'm saying? I'm just spitballing here, but I also could be stupid. So, grain of salt.
Yes, we're right there by that tree. We were out.
All right, so for anybody that has a map up, again, I'm just doing this myself. I haven't pulled up where that location is. So I think he was just asked where that building was. If you look behind him, we could probably find the building if we look at what's behind him. I can't read the signs there, but one might switch this video to 720 or 1080, take that, screen cap it, clean it up. I don't. It looks too far gone though to me. It's kind of lower quality. It's already on 1080. And then you'd just pull that up on a map, orient it to where this guy was speaking using the road signs or whatever, and the flags. The flags might not be there, though, since the image might be old. Then there's the water tower, and then he said it's right back there behind that tree.
By that tree. We were outside the security perimeter. But my question is, there's only a few buildings around here. Why is Secret Service not at every building here?
Video, ooh. Johnny G is saying, video on BitChute of man on roof. Yo, can you put in quotes in the comments, in the chat, the exact title, if possible? Or, like, what keywords? I'll search in the meantime, but I just would hate to... I only have a few minutes left here, and I don't want to waste anybody's time either. Meaning, waste time by just me trying to find it desperately. Alright, I'll try and pull it up in the meantime, though. Good looks. Let's take a look. Do a quick little dive. Let's put on our wetsuits. We're going in. Not too deep. This isn't a deep sea dive. Okay? This is a surface level information as it comes in dive. Trump shooter roof. Search. Okay, nothing yet. Trump shooter. Okay. Show you the results. Alright, this is what I'm getting. I searched Trump shooter. Witness told reporter he told cops there was a shooter. That's fucking, yup. The dead shooter, how'd he get there? Is
Let
this
this
recent?
soft mineral melt in your mouth to rebuild your gums and teeth and never need a dentist again.
Here we go.
How to escape the heat if you don't have an air conditioner. This only takes 5 minutes. If you're tired of hot and stuff.
Lá em cima, né? Aqui, ó.
Alright, Trump to save America on BitChute. Caption, impossible to get into a rally with that weapon and not be Secret Service noticed, he says. He links to a post on X that I'll pull up right now. And then I'll put it up after we watch the video. The video's here too, but let's watch it on BitChute.
We can see the guy there. I think they hit him.
Oh shit.
The
That is definitely... Damn. Yeah.
Lá em cima, né?
That's definitely a dude that looks to be laying down on the roof.
Aqui, ó. We can see the guy there.
Wow. Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Let's see what people have to say. Let's pull up. I gotta speed run this. Butler, PA on the map. Let's look at it. Butler Farms Showgrounds. And it looks like a long, like a how to explain it, a long oblong type building with a gentle slant. I can't get any street views. It's open field.
Aqui, ó.
Tree
You
behind
can see
it.
the guy there. I think they hit him because the guy is, he looks dead.
I just don't know exactly where they
Side the event.
red roof in the background. I don't think it's over here.
Nope. But you were just outside. Tell us what you saw and what.
So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us at the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party, and we all decided, hey, you know, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees up there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally. Right? We couldn't see them, but we could hear them. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, you know. But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle, absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him.
Fuck, dude.
You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking...
They really did tell him. Why is Trump still speaking? I just told the law enforcement that's securing the rally that there's a man with a rifle perching himself, actively climbing onto a roof. Oh, it's the building behind the racetrack? Here, let me try again. Now, I was going to make an ass of myself. I'm a little sleepy, and I'm also rushing. I got to get to my friend's house. They're probably watching this saying, this kid's a dick. Why didn't he leave yet? Hold on. Okay, it's the building behind the racetrack. All right, Jared, let me thank you. I appreciate it. Where's the racetrack? Oh, there it is. It's the building behind the racetrack. Okay, this one. Oh, is it the Family Sports Center? Oh, shit, it's the Family Sports Center, isn't it? Hey, Jared, is it the Family Sports Center area? I'm trying to think. It looks like, see how it looks like that sort of similar type of building. See? Hell yeah. Jared says, yup. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so the Jared is saying that it's the Family Sports Center, Butler, PA. And the footage we're seeing on the left is taken, what, from the soccer field area? It looks like the soccer field area that they're taking it from, maybe? Or is it across the street? No. Let's take another look, though. It's a pretty close match, but again, I'm operating very quick here.
Lá em cima, né? Aqui, ó. You can see the guy there.
Yeah, there's like a protruding object on the top, like a pipe or something, maybe. Yeah, you could see a vent in a wall behind it, so that would mean... Wait, depending on the vantage point, though, are we looking into this build? No, that wouldn't make sense, would it? It's funny because the information's probably out there, but I just kind of like doing it myself sometimes, you know? Keep the skills fresh, whatever I have, if you can even call that any semblance resembling like a skill set, but... Let's look at the windows. Can you see the windows?
You can see the guy.
Here's the guy. He's closer to the peak of the building. No, he's like right in the center. Fuck, it's hard to say. Nah, he actually looks like he's in the middle of the building, right at the peak. And we might be looking over the building to the top of another building, I think. Pay attention to the tree angle. Yeah, that's important, right? So we gotta remember that over the in the background of the building where the shooter was laying down was a tree. So if this building, if we're right on that, there would have to be a tree, but like big batch of trees to the right. Was it a
Aqui, ó.
unless red roof north? Sorry, I'm trying to read your comments too. Appreciate it, Jared. Thanks for the info. That was awesome. Sorry, there's people way more proficient at this. I wish I had more time to do this, but I didn't anticipate this, so I'm having fun with you guys here. Red roofs. Yeah, that's right. Red roofs. I saw there's those. Those look far away though. Fuck. I've died. Now it's gonna bother me. Like I could just look it up, but you know, I kind of want to do it.
Holding him off the stage. I'm standing there pointing at him for 2-3 minutes. Secret Service.
See, because the background right there, and then he points that way. It's a long brown building, like almost like, and then it has red roofs, as you guys said. All right, I'm gonna give it up in just a second though, because I do have to go. As fun as this is, ordinarily I'd be in it to the end with you guys, but fuck it. I think that's good enough for now. Well, it's not, but I gotta go. You guys take the reins, figure it out. Good information, Jared. I think, you're right on this. That's interesting testimony. I think we have to pay attention to that. Run through the checklist, guys, as we get closer to understanding who the shooter was, why they did it, so on and so forth. Look for the repeated signs and symbols and information that tends to precede these events. Was he visited just last week, just last month by federal officials? Was he already on the record? Was he somehow incapable of getting a weapon but still managed to do so? Remember Nicholas Cruz, he was visited by law enforcement over and over, right up until the shooting, like a week before these. Lanza, same thing. I'm not saying it's indicative of anything, but sometimes you just want to look at the disturbance in the force that seemed to be an undercurrent between a lot of these shooting cases. Anthony Warner, Christmas, the bomber, the guy that detonated that RV bomb right by Christmas Day, Nashville. I mean, they directly told the police that he was building a bomb, but not only that, in his camper. Nobody did anything. They knocked on his door. He didn't answer. That's good enough for them. And that was a significant attack on infrastructure. So while the evidence and info is still out there, I probably won't be here when we actually get a name confirmed. But, those are some of the things you want to do. And remember, guys, archive, archive, archive. Very last thing, LinkTree, guys. LinkTree. It's always in the bio of every video. Let me pull it up. All my links in one place. And I'm trying to push the Substack too. So if you want show notes, ordinarily like a video like this that's actually pre-planned, there'd be show notes. No show notes would go on Substack. Okay, can join the Telegram channel if you'd like. You know the drill, guys. You know what a fucking Linktree is. But seriously, it makes your life easier. All right. Hopefully this video stays up, but I think we stayed within the confines of the YouTube law. Like, share, and subscribe. Send to your friends. I appreciate it. Glad Trump is okay, but this is things are only going to get more interesting.